What's your name?
Okay, my name is Matthew Klein, and I teach here for the last 11 years. Presently I teach U.S. history at Fairchild Wheeler, the IT school.
Where were you born?
I was born in Bridgeport, Connecticut, either side. Yeah, St. Vincent's Hospital. I'm not going to say the year, but it was quite some time ago.
How were your school experiences?
Yeah, I went to a Catholic school called both elementary and high school, and it was representation, I think a good representation of Bridgeport at that time. It was about, since the questions earlier were about race, it was about 30-30-30. And I remember kind of both high school and elementary school was about 30-30-30, meaning 30% European, white, 30% African American, 30% Hispanic. Obviously throw some Asian in there too, which was kind of what Bridgeport was at that time in the 70s and 80s.
What type of housing and neighborhood do you live in?
Well, I born and raised in Bridgeport in the Bearsley Park area. Walked a lot throughout the city in my childhood. I had a job from a very young age in the Lower East Side, and I would walk through the East Side. I was, an East Side kid. And then, later on in my life, when I got married, I moved first to Stratford, and now I live in Trumbull, Connecticut.
What made you choose your job?
Well, when I went to college, originally my sister, I was the youngest of a large family, youngest of 5 brothers and sisters, and my sister, who was successful, older, and she was always kind of guiding me, told me to go for international business. And I liked kind of, the macro stuff of business, but I wasn't too good with numbers. But then I fell in love with my philosophy, religion, history courses. So I made a big switch over to a kind of liberal arts, history and philosophy. And then when I met, my wife later on, and I lived a life that was conducive, I decided to become a teacher. So I settled down and took that liberal arts degree and put a teaching certificate. And I'm not just saying this because it's my job, I truly love history, and I don't consider it work, speaking about history and all of its ramifications. And I say in my class, I think you would need 6 lifetimes to be a beginner's expert at history, So I like that aspect of continuous learning. And once my life was conducive to teaching, I got married and settled down, it was the field, I think, for me.
What type of leader do you consider yourself, and what qualities make somebody a good leader?
Yeah, I was joking around, Leo. You got 2 days, come back, and I'll still be talking about this. This one would take forever. I never considered myself a leader. I told you already I was the youngest of a large family. I like being in a leadership team. So the only place I was ever a leader was I coached basketball for several years, and it was half crazy when I was doing that. Principal used to have the ambulance outside. I would be screaming so much. So, I love the question, what makes a good leader? Very difficult to answer. This might sound too dreamy and utopian, but a leader is a servant, one that serves the people. And regardless of self, good luck with that. But so, a leader needs ambition and drive, and that makes them forget that they're servants. And so,
what suggestions would you give to somebody who wants to be a social leader?
Authenticity, understand what people are asking for, humility, in front of that, you have a vision, and that vision might be helpful for others.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you 5 questions relating to race, and
Yes.
The first one is, which racial group has the highest number of people dying of homicide?
Okay, that's, so we're talking a bit. The questions are kind of, I do study demographics, it's a big part of U.S. history, and so I'm gonna guess off the top of my mind, and usually have, kind of proximity. Again, with facts would be better. But if you were asking me to guess, which is a bit kind of pointy, and potentially could reveal some bias or whatever. But anyway, in the pure guessing, which race? Say it again. The question.
Which racial group has the highest number of people dying from homicide?
Highest number. Well, then, again, I studied demographics. That would be my answer. Would be because they are a number. If you're asking numbers, that would be European, aka white Americans, because of the amount of number that they are. If you're asking percentile, then I believe that would be African American. Highest number of homicides.
The actual answer is African Americans.
Yeah.
Second question, which racial group has the highest number of drug addictions?
In drug addiction, especially in the last couple of years, from everything I've studied and looked at and researched, there's been a growing concern and major problem in the country. I would say that's European white Americans. Again, because of their number, at about 59% of the total population, but especially with the opioid crisis of recently, I would say it's European white Americans.
The answer is Hispanics.
Ooh, wow, percent.
Third question is, which racial group has the highest percentage of college graduates?
So again, if you're taking percentile, the total, so in other words, regardless of the number, college graduates, I would say that would be Asian American.
Almost, but it's white, just by a slight bit.
By a slight bit, thanks. Yep.
Fourth question is, which racial group commits the most crimes?
A percentile, again, if that's percentile, and not number, just vast quantity of number. I don't know. Say African American there, I'm not sure.
It would be Caucasians.
Caucasians, yeah.
Which racial group has the highest number of people in poverty?
Highest number of people in poverty. Again, it's number. Say it's Caucasian white American.
The answer is actually, it was Native Americans.
Native, wow, okay. Yeah, I get it if you're looking at percentile or raw number. There's a difference there, but yeah, pointy questions for someone who loves demographics. But anyway, I'm happy to participate in this survey with you.